Hello, Forever Classic listeners. Joe here. You are about to listen to what is an extremely fun conversation about all sorts of nerdy nonsense with musical talent Nur-D. However, in the time since we recorded this interview, the world witnessed Minneapolis, Nur-D's home city, and a city I lived in for many years, become the center of attention as protests and extremely violent riots broke out in the wake of the murder of George Floyd at the hands of police officers on May 25th, 2020. These protests to police brutality have sparked other protests and riots throughout the United States and parts of the rest of the world. In the midst of chaos, Nur-D has risen as a community leader, helping facilitate one of the many donation centers throughout the Twin Cities, but also helping an emergency pop-up medical tent offering services to people injured. During this, he has been gassed, hit with rubber rounds, and had to flee while protecting injured civilians despite their medical provision status. One evening even resulted in his arrest for breaking the citywide curfew while streaming live on Facebook in what I can only call one of the best examples of leadership, communication, and extreme calmness I've ever seen. The following morning, upon release from police custody, his top priority was making sure supplies were being distributed effectively. Considering this, I think it would be a disservice to release this interview without commending his brave efforts, and to also create a call to action for our listeners. If you are looking for a way to help and are able, you can send support to his efforts via PayPal to justicefrontlineaidcrew@gmail.com. We here at Forever Classic Games understand that with a pandemic and so many other factors at play, that you may not be in a position to help. And that is okay. Our priority is that you are taken care of and safe. With that out of the way, I hope you enjoy this fun conversation that we had with Nur-D about his musical career and nerdy interests. Thank you for listening.
This is one of my good days, one of the ones that I do believe. Everything that she said to me, like every single time she said Nur-D is super fine. I look into the mirror and I think she might be kinda right, cause I know I look good. Take my picture. I look super hot right now, girl, take my picture. I'm too sexy in this shirt, boy, take my picture. I look good, take my picture. This is one of my better days, one of the times where I'm not gonna believe the lies, not gonna hide my hot self away. Oh no, cause I'm going out, and I'm looking freaking fresh for you, no doubt. I'm a hot beef, I'm a slick piece. When you see me on the street, take your phone out, because you know I look good, take my picture. I look super hot right now, girl, take my picture. I'm too sexy in this shirt, boy, take my picture. I look good, take my picture.
Welcome, everybody, to the Forever Classic Games weekly discussion podcast. I'm Joe Seamson, a.k.a. The Daddy Gamer, and I am joined this week by my fellow co-host and special guest. Why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves?
How's everybody doing? It's Alex. You know
it's
me.
Zach.
And our special guest this week is, I'm very excited about, because he was my number one listened to artist on Spotify last year.
I have that plaque on the other wall. You don't see it. This is just a different thing. But on the other wall, there's a plaque that says that I was your number one streamed artist on Spotify.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
I mean, you can get tweets printed. You might as well get a mug.
There you go. Just a little mug.
Supported by Joe.
Yeah. It's the best mug. Hi, everybody. For those of you who didn't understand any of what I just said, my name is Nur-D. That's Nur-D. I'm very excited to be here on the podcast. I feel super cool. I'm ready to go.
I'm just really excited about this because I've been wanting to just get into a discussion with you about all sorts of things for a while now. And now I have an avenue in which to do that actually entices you to be a part of it rather than just some nerd that wants to talk to you.
I mean,
self-promotion, baby.
Truly, that's what we all are, just really curious nerds.
Yes. So nerds who want to talk to you.
Yeah. We like doing deep dives into things. We've had a lot of developers, we've had a lot of speedrunners, just people that are fans of stuff. So, I mean, we'll take anybody.
Yeah. Talking to the Scale Boy dudes was real fun.
Yeah. But this time, you might be not our first composer, but I think our first musical artist, as far as being a guest and doing an interview.
Aha! Yes, I like being the first. I can put that on my other wall.
You only got one wall left, dude.
I know. I don't know what I'll put on it. I have no idea.
That's okay. That's the beauty of construction. You just make yourself some more walls.
Make some more walls.
I'm going to take this wall. I'm going to make it two.
Let's start this thing off by just giving everybody a quick rundown of how you got into music and kind of what your pitch is for anybody who's never heard you before.
Yeah. So I'll start with the pitch because I think it's important. I always say to people, like, if you took a comic book shop, a professional wrestling nerd, or mark, as we say, a whole heap of 90s cartoons, like the cartoon block, and put it all into a rap cipher, you're going to pretty much get what I do.
Sounds about right.
That's the thing. That's what you're going to find. I love that kind of stuff. Pop culture punchlines. Fun, upbeat, real, honest. I feel like that's kind of like my bit. I've been doing hip hop now for about 2 years, which is relatively small amount of time, but I've been able to do a whole lot of really big things. Most recently, before everything was shut down, I was on tour with Brother Ali, and I was all over the Midwest, and that was a lot of fun. I've done some stuff, for like Minnesota Pride out here, Martin Luther King Day for Minneapolis. I was at Soundset back when Soundset was still running through. I was at Soundset 2018. Yeah, just like all the things you could possibly think of. I was rolling around doing those weird stuff. I got into hip hop. I've always been into it, Hip hop has been a part of my life musically as long as I can remember, but I never really did it. I did rock and roll first, if you can believe it. I played keys in a band called Black Genesis.
Can we find them?
Yeah, you can find the
that
song.
old track?
You check them out. I think we tried really hard to scrub most of it off the internet, but there might be still a few bits here and there.
So that was actually
Go
my
way
first
back
introduction to you was Black Genesis.
Yes.
And so it was you branching from that is kind of how I followed you into all of that.
So I got to do more nerdy stuff and more things that I was really excited about and fans of, and can make like more references. There's less cooks in the kitchen when it's just you making your own music. And that's kind of what I've been doing now for the last 2 years, and it's been wonderful. It's been fantastic. I have such an amazing group of fans and a band that travels with me from time to time, and it's a buttload of laughs. That's my tagline, with the weird pause in it.
Basically what you're saying is you don't need to ask for approval to throw a Mario Kart reference into a song about being petty.
Yeah, never. Never, ever. And I love doing it. Blue shelling people is my favorite phrase.
That is a good one. I think because while Joe is like a longtime fan of some of your past stuff and kind of watched you grow into what you're doing now, me and Zach especially have just kind of just started listening. I mean, there's a couple tracks that we'd hear here and there because Joe would recommend it. But what I really find interesting about your songs is that, yeah, it's got that nerdy reference in there, but it's also like really hard-hitting human elements. So give me your take about like how that kind of ties into everything.
I think what I tell people all the time is that in order to not be a caricature of yourself, you have to be honest. You know what I mean? Like fun is fun, and it's time. There's times to party and times to dance and all that stuff. But as an artist, you have a responsibility to make the music that's the most honest. And I think that in turn is the most positive. I like people use positive to like describe my music a lot, but positive doesn't always mean happy. I think it just means honest. It means true and working towards the best outcome of growth for yourself. So for me, I'll make a song, and it might not be like super happy and dancey. It's about like growing up in a particularly difficult environment, or dealing with depression, or understanding or loss of a relationship, or changing of a dynamic in a relationship. All those things are there and present just as much as all the fun, Dwayne The Rock Johnson jokes. Like it's a part of it. It's a part of who I am. So I think that it fully encompasses what a nerd is happy and fun and cool, but also just like sad a lot.
So what would you say are some of your greatest musical influences, or inspirations?
Okay, that's a good question. I would say there's so many, and it'll change depending on what kind of song I'm trying to make. When I'm like, I'm gonna make a real emotional song, I'll listen to these people.
It's like when I'm trying to DM and I decide to watch Blade Runner, and all of a sudden,
yes, Warforges. Everybody's a Warforge.
There's some Blade Runner.
Are you a Warforge? Did you even know? No. I would say that my musical influences, Chance the Rapper is a big musical influence. Listening to Coloring Book really changed my perspective on how rap could be done and how hip hop could be done. I would also say that Prince is a huge influence on me as well.
And that's a distinctly Minnesotan, I think, portion of your influence, because the music industry in Minnesota is so unique, and how everything branches from the Twin Cities and how Prince was very invested in the local music scene.
Yeah, he certainly was. And I was blessed enough earlier this month, actually. No, it was in April. In April, I got to do a live stream concert for Paisley Park, which was really fun. And so nice. The House of Prince and being able to work with them and all the great people that he has set up with, it was amazing. It was a great time. And we raised money for other artists here in Minnesota that are going through stuff because of COVID. But so Prince was a huge musical inspiration, and not just that, but like performing. A lot of the people that I love to watch perform were like 80s hair metal frontmen. The people who would just jump and strut and Mick Jagger it around. You know what I mean? Like, it was like this.
Those are definitely the more fun shows to go to when the band is just as invested in having fun as the people listening. I haven't managed to make it to one of your live shows yet. Until that happens, the best concert I've ever been to is a pirate metal band called Ailstorm.
Yeah.
That's dope.
They put on the most fun show. Just a couple hundred people just singing sea shanties together, and there's just a bunch of pirates on stage just
That's
rocking out.
Oh my.
I think one of the most fun I ran into was a Macklemore concert at WVU.
Oh, you told me about that one.
It was wild, but it's the concert. I mean, they're pretty like loud and crazy in a lot of the things that they do in general. But the people around, because WVU is really, really weird for a lot of stuff that happens. I'm up here and I'm like filming a clip of it, and I look over and there's just couples swing dancing to all of his music in the street.
They love it.
They're like in the middle of it, so they part ways and like ambulances are flying by because people are getting all messed up because it's Morgantown, and then they're just filling back in the street, still dancing.
Wow.
Jeez.
At the Ailstorm concert, you know that sword fight game where you try to poke the other person?
Yeah.
Oh, we called it ninja, and you had to like karate chop them.
Oh no, this was like you grasp hands with someone, and then you have your finger out, and then you try to like poke them with your finger, and if you get them, you stab them. People were doing that in the mosh pits at the Ailstorm concert.
So what's the craziest live event that you've ever performed there, Nur-D?
Oof, the craziest?
Or like the most memorable moment?
Okay, I will say this. As Nur-D, the craziest the craziest that I'd been to was Farm Fest in, I forget the name of the town. It's in Wisconsin, and it's a farm that throws a huge concert event for all of the people that work on the farm and then the surrounding town. And I remember they had asked me, "Hey Matt, do you want to be a part of this?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." Well, first I was like, I don't know, I've heard of this. And they're like, "We're going to do a sheep roast." And I was like, well, I've never had a sheep roast before. So sure.
Sold.
Like, you sold me on it. I don't even know. Don't even worry about what you're paying me yet.
Oh, there's going to be food? I'm
like, I've never had a sheep roast before. I'll say it's a cool thing. And I remember I've never seen a group of so many different types of people together to listen to such eclectic groups of music. There was like weird like folk rock bands. There was like gut rock bands. There was me and another hip hop artist. And then it was just random people. And when I say like the group was wild, I'm going to say like it was a combination of like old Vietnam vets, like Latino migrant workers, like a huge semblance of LGBTQ people coming through, and then just other random farmhands. It was the most, and everyone was getting along with everybody. It was like, awesome. Was very positive. I was just
That's so cool.
I was just
That's
fantastic.
fantastic.
This is the craziest thing I've ever been a part of. So that was the wildest thing as Nur-D that I think I've ever been to. No one was injured or anything. It was just a very like rainbow coalition of human beings. The most crazy show I've been in, period. I was with Black Genesis at the Moose Antler Bar or whatever it was called. I don't remember. It was the last show we ever played as Black Genesis. And we were in the middle of a song about peace, world peace, and a fight broke out. Like, when I say a fight broke out, I mean like falling on the ground, just people just wailing on each other. Everyone
Holy crap.
screaming and pulling people off of people, shouting, cursing at each other. And I just remember standing there on the stage just so confused and being like, wow, no one's even listening to what we're saying. Out of all the songs to do this in.
That's why you should know, if you were to ever, like, if you had, like, an actual wish, and if you were to wish for world peace, everyone would just disappear.
Just disappear. And there's no more wars. Except for the wars between the squirrels and the chipmunks. I feel like they don't like each other.
Yeah, there's something about those two groups that just don't get along.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine it to be popular.
This is getting borderline speciesist.
Man, some of the nicest people I've ever met were like at ridiculous metal concerts.
Yeah.
Like, just genuinely friendly people. Like, when they would do the mosh, if somebody was like off balance or something, they would catch them, set them aside, and be like, "Hey, you all right, man? Like, you don't have to be in this."
I was at one where someone lost their glasses, and just this huge, just like black metal, death metal guy with long hair just shoved like 20 people out of the way and said, "Glasses!" And then it was like 20 people looking on the ground looking for someone's glasses. Like, everything stopped to make sure that that person didn't lose their glasses. And it's even more so if someone's getting hurt and falling.
Yeah. No
That's awesome.
genre of people are dicks, just people are dicks. Like, like it's just like there's not like if you get a group of people together, you'll be more nice people than dicks. I believe that truly. Unless the group of people are specifically there to be dicks.
Yeah,
Fair.
If it's a dickish group, I mean, you can only do so much.
But like, I've never been to a single concert of any sort that everybody was bad and nobody was good. I'm not a huge mosh pit fan myself, but I've never been forced into one. Now, granted, I'm like twice everybody's size and very black, so people don't tend to do that. But like, it's never happened. It's never.
I'm a little fella. I get run over.
Yeah, so it's been super nice.
This is why I go to concerts with big friends.
I'm extremely average, so anything could happen.
Stonewall.
Zach stands above the crowd. I've seen it.
So we've talked about some of your musical influences. What are some of your nerdy influences and inspirations?
Professional wrestling. Big, huge professional wrestling fan. All day, every day. I try to watch as much as I can.
God. My friend
There's
BJ
a lot of charisma there.
love you.
I'm telling you, it's the best. I tell people all the time, if you want to look at a great marketing group of people, professional wrestling, they are selling fake fighting to stadiums of people. Not just stadiums of people. Every week. Multiple times a week. You gotta give them some kind of props. Just saying it's fake fighting is the plebeian way of handling it.
Well,
it is the best thing.
And it's such a hard and physically demanding thing. Like, it's fake. You're just trying not to hurt each other. Like, you're trying to be safe and be really aggressive. I know I've done that sort of thing before for stage. So it's fantastic. It's exhilarating. It's super fun.
It's drama
you just get
infused
impassioned with
stunts.
it. Yeah.
When you see someone hit a kick and it looks like it hurt them, and for a second you forget like that this is not real, you're like, holy buckets, that's the moment.
When you have two people screaming at each other over a belt for 5 minutes, and then one of them launches themselves 12 feet through the air into the other guy's face.
It's amazing. So I'm a huge professional wrestling fan. I was going to be a professional wrestler if it wasn't for music. I would have probably gone that route.
Well, as a fan and as a
to.
listener, I'm glad music was there for
Yes.
you.
Don't count me out yet.
That
if I
said-
get big enough, I'm a David Arquette in this situation. I'm gonna figure out
If
how
you
to
came
get
onto the stage, a professional wrestling stage, and kept Nur-D as your stage name,
Of course.
I would watch.
Yeah, no, it'd just be me. But I'd be a bad guy because I'd only want to be a bad guy wrestler. Those are the best ones.
We know your bad guy persona runs out of fuel really quick. You
Exactly.
already
So
made
it's a
song
really
about
quick.
it.
I'd have like a group of guys in front of me that would punch people for me. Also, nerdy stuff. I play a lot of video games. I also do Dungeons and Dragons. Big Dungeons and Dragons fan. So I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons since high school. And video games as well. I love Mass Effect. I've never actually rapped about Mass Effect, because I think it's more of a religion for me. But it's more of a religious experience. But all hail Shepard, the one true choice maker, the renegade and the paragon to us all.
This is my favorite store in the Citadel.
Yeah.
I worked at a game store where we actually programmed a thing on the door to where you open the door, it would say that. It was really
That's
funny.
amazing. Oh, I played so much Mass Effect. No lie. I played Mass Effect. This is the order I played it in, because I rented 3 from a Blockbuster. That is the sentence of old people. But I
didn't even know there were Blockbusters when 3 came out.
Yes, there were in Rosemont,
Not
Minnesota. There certainly was. So I got 3, and then I played 2, then I played 1, then I played 1, and then I played 2, then I played 3, and then I played 1, 2, 3 again. And I love Mass Effect. And I've played Andromeda twice, and I hated it both times.
Yeah, well, at least you tried.
I tried the first time, and I was like, oh, this is gross, I hate it. And then I was like, Matt, give it a chance. And I played it again.
That's how I feel about salt and
I
vinegar
hated
chips.
See, I bought it for $5 about 2 years after it came out. And I was satisfied with my $5 purchase.
You overpaid by $4.99.
My biggest disappointment in Andromeda was that it just felt like it didn't progress anything. It didn't build on what the original trilogy had put forth. Like it just felt more of Mass Effect 3 in terms of gameplay and everything. And while I think that by the time I played it, a lot of the bug issues and things were fixed and kind of like weeded out of it. So my overall playthrough experience was fine. But I was just like, man, it would have been really nice if they had expanded things more. Like, if you're going to let me make a character and be one of these factions from these 5 different major races, why can't I be a Krogan? I want to be a Krogan so bad.
No one can be a Krogan. I love Krogans. I was just upset because, like, what I remember when I saw it, I was like, oh, sweet, it's a new story. And it was like, okay, what happens next? We did all of this stuff in Mass Effect 3. You got more for us. And then it takes place, spoilers for those of you who haven't played Andromeda.
Well, they learn it in the first 10 minutes. So
yeah, it takes place 200 years after Andromeda, or no, 200 years after Mass Effect 3 happens. 200 years, and not even 200 years in a world in which Mass Effect 3 has happened, so a lot of things have changed. Yeah, they've literally went in suspended animation and then just went to a different galaxy, so all the technology is 200 years behind, but all of their information is 200 years out of date. It's the stupidest thing in the world. It's the having sci-fi. Your cake and eating it too of like a sequel. They're just like, oh, well, we didn't have to make any new, guns or anything because everything's still old.
Oh, so you mentioned D&D. Are you a player or a DM?
I am primarily a DM. I do a lot of dungeon mastering. We were starting a huge Dungeons and Dragons initiative here in Minnesota before everything had shut down. But so I do a lot of DMing. Now I do a lot of it on Zoom and various things. I also play. I have played, and I do play. Obviously, always a DM, never a bride. You know how that works. And once you start DMing, you pretty much are DMing all the time.
That's where I was.
But every now and then I get to play, which is always fun. And I tend to build characters that have no functionality because I'm sick of being correct.
What you're saying is we should put together a one shot and bring you in as a guest player.
Oh my goodness, please. I will be so happy. I will play the silliest gnome you've ever met in your life.
We've met that one, so that's a high bar. That's that bard we were talking about earlier.
I'll be a less silly gnome, maybe.
Everyone has to be gnomes.
Well, the important question is, what is your favorite class and character? Because that's going to tell us a lot about you.
I have, it's a tie. Okay, no. My favorite class is Warlock. Warlock's my favorite class. I feel like it gives you the best of both worlds, depending what's
They're the Swiss Army knife of D&D.
yeah, like whatever, regardless of whatever pack you choose, you're gonna have like a fun little thing. If you choose Pact of the Tome, you're basically like a different sorcerer wizard thing. If you choose Pact of the Blade, you're basically a bard with less music. And if you pick Pact of the Chain, you're a better ranger than any ranger in 5.5. In 5.0. Ranger is a dump class. Don't pick it. That being said...
the revised ranger...
The revised ranger is not bad. It's just like the regular ranger is butt fume.
Yeah, you do have to go out of it. To make a good ranger, you do have to go out of the core rule or the player's handbook.
But I like monks. I think monks are a lot of fun to play, especially if you get into like, if you really want to just like do a particular weird build. Like throwing a monk into a game is always because no one really, it can be like this massive damage dealer pseudo tank, or it's just like a thing, like a person. It's just they're not really there. You never quite know how they're supposed to function, because very rarely do people go like, and there's the monastery. Like you could go hang out with the other monks. Like no, usually people don't do that. So it's just like
they're always like wandering folks.
Yeah, they're just like, oh yep, and I'm here and I can beat you up a whole lot. I like Way of the Open Hand. That's my favorite monk class because I like just making dragons move. Without them being able
open
to
hand
do
combat,
anything.
I always think of Hinata and her brother in Naruto. The like gentle
5 palms,
fists.
6
That's
to
some
8
cool
palms,
shit,
25
man.
palms.
I love that.
37,000 palms.
The best hand-to-hand combat is when One Punch Man slaps the mosquito lady.
Yes, explosions. I always think that's what a level like 10 plus monk feels like to a regular party.
I'm smiling so they never really see me coming. Buttercup with the green stripes, I'm power puffing. Any Monday with undies and bunches can come in and swing and get a mirror force trap if they think I'm bluffing. These muggles only care about diamonds round their throat. I'll flex on all of them when I pay off my student loans. And my brother's brother's student loans. And keep it going till my whole community explodes. Now we looking like we're Midwest Wakanda. Stand when I stand, boy, you're looking at T'Challa. Man with the plan, shout out to the homie Kendrick. Best thing since sliced bread, and I don't need a bench yet, boy. They know. I thought I told them they don't know. I'm bringing RKOs out of nowhere on everybody. Heel turn.
So you recently launched your new album, Trapped in My Room.
Yes.
What was the idea behind the album, and how different was the release and creation of this album versus prior projects you've done, especially since you released it kind of in the middle of the like stay-at-home orders and the COVID-19 pandemic?
So, first thing was when I had a lot of shows. Like, I was booked all the way up until September, pretty consistently. And then over the course of like a weekend, 90%, 99% of those shows canceled because everything is shut down. And I remember getting that call being like, wow, okay.
I'm sure that was a lot of calls.
Yeah, it was like a lot of emails just hitting like day after day after day after day. Like, hey, we're canceling. Hey, we're canceling. Hey, we're canceling. And I realized that I was going to be home for a while because I had stopped working and started going full-time music. So I was like, cool.
Congratulations with that.
Thank you. It was a very fun time walking out of my job, not knowing that there was a freaking pandemic coming.
Right.
But I decided like I wanted to write my feelings, not just about like the virus and stuff, but just like I wanted to create. I didn't want to take this time and not do anything. I wanted to mark the occasion because I knew that this time is it will be talked about later, and I wanted to put a stamp on my time here. So I started writing. First it was just like, let's write some songs to get the juices flowing. So that's where you have like Thwip and you have Grim and songs about like cartoons that I enjoyed, the things that I normally would write about. And then as I was going forward, I would start to like weave in these thoughts and emotions that I had about the lockdown in general as a whole. And then I was able to kind of like pull back around to more positive stuff again. But like to literally just track my feelings over the course of time. And unlike songs about stuff that I recorded in a professional studio with this, you know, all these bells and whistles and like soundproof roofing and and like actual recording equipment, this whole project I recorded on an old busted snowball microphone and GarageBand on my roommate's borrowed laptop. Like it was.
Well, I couldn't have known it was a snowball without you saying something, so you did something pretty solid.
Yeah.
We worked really hard. Like I sent it. After I mixed it, a lot of it, I sent it over to my DJ Hayes, and he really like was like took a fine-tooth comb to that and was like, all right, let's do this, let's do that. So it was like a lot of people working. He really like put some elbow grease into it to make it sound, and I had to re-record some stuff and send it to him, and we made sure that it sounded as decent as it could with what we had available to us.
Which almost in some ways feeds into the theme of the album too, because you couldn't go out and just like rent out a studio space. You had to do it with what you had available to you and the thing. So what you're saying is you intentionally built meaning into the recording process for a distinct feel and sound to the entire album.
So if it sounds bad, it was on purpose. I demand a Grammy.
Well, here's my big question about it. How many blankets did you hang up in your room?
So many. So many.
That's a song right there. So many blankets hung up in my room.
It was hot. I had to turn off all my fans. So it's just like, I'm just sweating. I'm just like, why? Singing the same line over and over again. It was not a fun time.
So in that album, one of the ones you have is 6 Feet.
Yeah.
And you just launched a music video of it.
Yes, I did.
So I don't know if you can see the stream, but I've actually got it pulled up. So I'm going to be playing it kind of in the background. And while it's playing, do you want to talk a little bit about like the song itself and about the making of the video?
I wish I could see it so I know what to say when.
Well, I'm starting it now. So you have a minute and 35 seconds. Go.
Okay. So Trent Hilborn, we've been talking about, he's the director and the shooter of this music video. We had talked a little bit about what we were planning on doing for music videos in general, and then obviously COVID happened, so we had to shut down some of the plans we had for other videos. But we thought it would be cool to still do a music video even now and off of this new album. So 6 Feet was the one we chose, and what was interesting about this was we filmed the entire music video on a drone. So me and him were never in physical contact, never closer than 6 feet from each other.
That's fucking cool.
So like it was like he was over there with his mask, I was over here. We never, and the whole time we were just like super far away from each other. But the drone could get right up and get close-ups. The drone could go fly up in the air, go fly around. So it was like this really interesting way of creating a professional-looking music video while still respecting the social distancing, which is the whole point of the music video. So it was very fun. It was very interesting. I've never done a music video where I was so far away from the person I was working with the entire time. Like,
all right, what do you want me to do? I want you to go left.
Do it again. And we have like a speaker, and you're like trying to hear the speaker, and you're like trying to walk around. Like it was a process, but I really it was interesting. There were a couple times where the drone like gets super close to my face, and those blades aren't like, those are legit, and you're just like. Because it's trying to get that close-up shot, and you're just like matrixing away, like it's like it was a very fun experience, and honestly, like I would do it again. It came out really nice, and everybody, people started to like it, and there's a little bit of a thing at the end, which is kind of interesting that people might find out a little bit about as we continue. Who knows? Who knows what that might be?
Yeah, I would say that probably one of your biggest strengths, and one of the reasons I've been wanting to get to a live show, is your stage presence and performance attitude is just top notch. Like, you're not just up there like spitting lyrics. You're up there giving a performance.
Yeah.
You put everything in your body into it, and it just adds so much to your performance levels, and we can tell that you're having fun. One of my favorite bands, the reason why I loved going to their live shows is because their drummer loved being a drummer, and you could tell they were having fun at every single show. And so that's one thing I really like about you, is you just put your all into it.
Hey, I feel like that's like what people pay for. If I'm going to ask people to come to see me, they've been working at Walgreens hard all week, and they need to pay $20 to see me do something. Like, I'm going to give you something that's $20 worth at the very least, so that you know that you've spent your money wisely. I don't believe in giving anything less than 150% when you hit on stage, especially when you're doing something that's art and then doing something that you are passionate about, because not everybody gets to do that. Not everybody gets to live out their dream exactly, and they've come to support yours. So you should be the first one to give all you can on the stage. Every time. It could be 5 people, it could be 500 people, it doesn't matter. They paid their ticket, they get the same level of show every time. And so, and my band and my DJ and everybody that works with me has that same mentality, which is why I think why I've been able to move so fast in 2 years' time was because we are just all in. And when you come to see a Nur-D show, people leave going like, holy buckets, that was a whole thing.
I've seen some of the retweets you've put out following a concert, and people are just like blown away. Like, I think it was your first show at First Ave, and people were like, they had gone there, I think, for another artist.
It was
and
Brother
walked
Ali.
out talking about you.
That was my first. That was when me and Brother Ali came through and hit the main room at First Ave. It was my first time at the main room, and I remember because people were like, "What the heck was that?" And I was like, "Yeah, this is what we're doing." This is the bit.
And for you out of towners, First Ave is kind of like a milestone moment for a musical performer in the Twin Cities in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it is like a really big deal to hit the main room there and be a featured artist, and they have stars on the outside walls painted, and to have your band or your artist name on the side of those walls is a point of pride for a lot of local artists.
It's like our garden, essentially. It's like, you could play the Target Center, or you could play, like a stadium or whatever. But if you're a local musician, or even just a musician at all, because everybody comes through First Ave, it's where Prince would play. It's where they filmed Purple Rain. It's it's a big deal. So being able to play the main room there is a huge honor, and I've been able to do it 3 times in the 2 years that I've been doing it. 2 years I've been doing it. The most recent was the best new bands of 2020. And I got to bring my whole band with me, which was a very fun time. We all dressed up as Space Jam, and we hit the stage, and it was a blast.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
We always try to do costumes. I'm a big fan of costumes, so when we go out there, we try to look the part.
Funniest costumes I ever saw was a Black Sabbath cover band specifically dressed as McDonald's characters. It's called Mac Sabbath.
That's
it's hysterical.
The best thing I've heard all day. That is amazing.
All right. So I found the picture of you guys as the Toon Squad.
Yes.
I've got it pulled up on the stream so people can see you guys.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like, we had a blast. We had the Space Jam intro. We ran out. I had a carrot. Had a big old carrot. It was fantastic. We had everybody but Wile E. Coyote.
You're talking to your PA before the show, and they're like, "All right, I need like 12 bottles of water. I need like some snack, like high energy, like energy bars or something." And the biggest carrot
I need a large carrot, please. Thank you very much.
Not just a large carrot, the biggest carrot you can find.
They always look at me like, I usually, like, in my writer, I've been asking people to give me a comic book. Just to see what they bring. Like, you don't have to, but it's funny. Just see what people will bring.
That's awesome.
Like, here's a comic book.
What's the weirdest one you've ever gotten?
I think I got one of Saga. You know the Saga?
Saga's amazing.
Yeah, Joe's pitched that a couple times.
It's amazing. I love Saga. But I was like, you don't know me. And Saga has a lot of stuff in it. That's bold for you to just give me.
I learned quickly that Saga is not one you read on the public transit.
Exactly. Exactly. Is that man having
And it's like, all right, I'm gonna
sex
turn
with
the
a
page.
spider?
Oh, there's a giant ogre with the just big old balls hanging out.
Yeah, like, is that man with a computer face masturbating? Yep, sure is. Sure is.
Bold move, audience member.
Yeah, bold move. So yeah, that was. I think that might have been a weird one.
What was your favorite song to create, or what is your like favorite or most proud of song that you've created, or which one was the most fun to create?
Ever? Oh, okay. I think it changes on the day. Sometimes I feel a certain type of way about a song, and so like when I'm feeling a certain type of feeling, I'll be like, I really like this one. I will say that my most proud of line in a song that I consistently put the top is in my song called Watch Me, which is actually in my very first mixtape that I ever made that only exists on SoundCloud because half of the stuff was just like pirated beats or whatever. I have a really good verse in that song that I think might be the best thing I've ever written still today. And it's just really interesting. So I like that one. Go find it on SoundCloud. It's Nur-D. It's super easy to find. The song that was the most fun to make, I think I would say I like Take My Picture. That was a lot of fun to make. Black Wizard Wave would be my second one because when I was in the studio doing Black Wizard Wave, the Leviosa bit at the end, that was spontaneous. And it was very fun when it happened. Like, I was just like, we need something at the end of here. Like, what are you going to do? Like, and so we're just like, sometimes, rappers will just like do ad-libs at the end. And that just came out and we loved it so much instantly. And we were like, let's do more of that. And so it kind of like turned into a part where people are like, that's my favorite part. That's the Leviosa. I love that part. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I love it too. It was completely random. So I feel when the fans tell me like that they were so excited, I was also very excited. I also didn't know that was going to be there until it happened.
Sorry, I'm just being honest. I'm just aware that I got this. Ironically, I found out I was a prodigy when no one stopped me at my desk. Don't drink, but I still get turned up. Left school, but I learned who I was. Big boy with a heart and a curse to be longing for things that will make me famous. So it's really lucky I found those who love me and show me my worth was inherently perfect. So get you a ticket and stream you a song. And when you feel it, you can sing along. I'm on my way, I'm on my way, I'm on my way. Riding a wave, riding a wave, riding a wave. They gonna hate, they gonna hate, they gonna hate. But we celebrate, we celebrate, we celebrate.
Take My Picture, I think, was the first one I played because it's like listed as your most popular track or something on Spotify. And so I loaded that up and I was just like working on something else. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, that's really good.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. That one is like the danciest, the one that usually like most people play because they're like, oh wow, this is the thing. I'm like, yeah, I love that song. It's a lot of fun to play. It's a lot of fun to perform. It's a blast. So that's a good one too.
Have you ever had somebody cover any of your tracks?
I've never had anybody cover one of my tracks yet. I really hope that happens at some point because I think that'd be so much fun. Yeah, I'm excited. I want someone to either do a very sad cover of a happy song that I've done or a very happy cover of a sad song that I've done.
So I have a question about your music video that I was actually talking with my wife right before this because we watched it together. How many hours, the one that's playing now, how many hours did you dance in front of that brewery?
Oh my gosh. I was there. It wasn't a crazy long time. I think it was maybe like 3 hours.
All right. I was guessing that it was something like 5 with you like being like, all right, did we like this? Now let's do it again.
Yeah, I was like, I danced in front of it for a while. I remember we were out there for a good minute. And I'm just dancing and hey, come over here, let's dance. And, hey, can you take a picture of me? All right, let's dance. And the dog, that was a complete random dog. That wasn't a planted dog. That dog was literally just happened to be around. And I was like, I'm gonna take a picture with this dog. And it worked out really well. That brewery.
I would say that my favorite track is 20 Cha.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Every time it's in my liked on my Spotify, and every time it comes on, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm feeling the groove now. I just love how easily you flow between Dungeons and Dragons references, and it's still like a really like kind of cute, genuine like little love letter about how cute you think someone is.
Yeah, like I said, I played Dungeons and Dragons for a while. I wanted to make a song. I went out saying, I want to make a song for non-nerd people to sing to people and not understand that they are acting so geeky. And the references they're singing about are so lame. and get people into Dungeons and Dragons because it'll cut that gap. It's like once you get, I feel like a lot of times once people get over themselves, they'll find that they like a lot more things than they thought they did. And Dungeons and Dragons is such a fun game, and you can do anything with it. You can write a rap song with it, and it'll make perfect sense, and you'll follow. That's the other thing. Like, these people are following what I'm saying, and it's like I'm using 90% in-game conversational phrases, and these people are like, yeah, I get it, oh, that's hot, yeah, this person's awesome, yeah, this boy's hot, and I'm just like, yep, you are a nerd, you would like Dungeons and Dragons.
Congratulations, we got you.
we got you. That was my thought process. So I like that song a lot too. Every time somebody says like, oh, like 20 Cha, a lot of people are like, what does that even mean? And I'm like, well, on the character sheet is charisma. And then they go like, what? And I'm always like, ha.
The most important stat.
Yeah, the most important stat for anybody. I don't care what class you are. If you don't have at least a 10.
You got a Death Knight with 20 Cha, everybody's just going to listen to what he says.
Exactly. Everyone should have 20 charisma. That's my takeaway. It's never a dumb stat.
What is one of your favorite, and this is one I think we could all answer, is what is one of your favorite video game or anime soundtracks?
You can give
the
us a
hard
list,
choices.
Okay.
Do you need time? I can go first if you need me.
I need a second. Because, like, I know there are tracks on particular video games that I love. I'm trying to think of the entire soundtrack as a whole.
An album is a unique thing to throw on the table.
Yeah.
For me, it would be Divinity Original Sin 2.
Okay.
Had a soundtrack that every time I fired up the game, I was like, why don't I own this yet? Why haven't I purchased this? And I was actually at a PAX event, and I went to the Lorian booth, and they had the vinyl on sale.
Wow.
Ooh.
And so I bought the vinyl, and it has some amazing artwork on it. And then the dev team came out and signed it for me.
Wow.
Nice. Very nice.
It's one of my favorite pieces of video game memorabilia that I have in my time in games journalism. But yeah, to have the vinyl of my favorite video game soundtrack, and it's just up on the wall, proudly displayed. It looks
I'll
awesome.
throw out two. So I absolutely adore just about every track in Final Fantasy IX. It's just so full of whimsy and fantasy that it's just really good. And like, there are songs in the Final Fantasy pantheon that just bring tears to my eyes because
they're really gorgeous.
Good. But I'm gonna throw out a weird one, and that's Cuphead. Cuphead is full of just like big band jazz, and it's so eclectic and energetic, and it's really good.
Holy buckets, yeah.
I've never played Cuphead. I just know that soundtrack.
The music is great.
See, that's awesome. For me, I'm gonna be like way up here on Hollow Knight.
Ooh, Hollow Knight. You're still riding that, huh?
I am, dude. It's definitely gonna be one of my like top games, like period, for a long time. But it's got such a melancholic track that just like moves through. Like you can listen to it and just picture the whole story in your head. That and where we did Outer Wilds, it was just real happy and like lots of banjos, which was some things I wasn't expecting to come from a space game, but it was really fun.
Seems like it fit really well. I need to give that one a go.
You should.
I'm gonna say okay. So I was thinking of anime and video games, so I'm kind of like back and forth. Yeah. This is what I'll say. As far as a video game, even though it's a cop out, I'm gonna say SS Tricky. Because it's other people's songs. It's not like in-game songs. It's like real songs. Yeah. But it's great. It's always great. Either that or Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Kind of have like
you
that
can say
same,
the same
like,
thing about Brutal Legend is just great collection of metal.
Yeah. But I will say that as far as like a internal music, Kingdom Hearts 1.
All right.
Kingdom Hearts 1.
Oh, yeah.
I've been known to throw that out.
It's a really like even outside of just Simple and Clean, which is is just like the track.
It's a mood.
It's like the whole everything they got's going on is really interesting. They'll like blend in Disney music in just enough way that you can understand what it is, but without like copyright completely. It's really interesting. So I liked that. As far as anime is concerned, I love One Punch Man. I think it has the best opener. The first season has the best opener. The music is exactly what it's supposed to be. Either that or I love the Fire Force intro.
Oh, yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
Oh, yo. Demon Slayer intro.
There's two openings in anime that are absolutely killer. Number one is Neon Genesis Evangelion from the 90s.
Yes.
Number two is Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood opening 1.
That's
Yes.
fair.
Those
So-
are
Perfect.
I might be kind of throwing out the obvious one, but I was recently reminded how much I love the entire Cowboy Bebop soundtrack.
it's
Yeah.
good.
Yes.
Cowboy
Upright
Bebop.
bass.
That's what's up.
Like I know it seems kind of like of course everyone that's just a good soundtrack. Everyone knows that. Pick something unique, but I genuinely listen to that album on a regular basis. Now, what
I
about
bet
like
that's
just
Steve
like
Bloom
albums?
I'm gonna
across the
go off.
board?
I'm gonna go off on a real quick thing about anime intros. This is a hot take. I like the One Piece rap better than the thing that they have for the real thing.
I'll follow you on that.
I like the Four Kids rap. It made more sense to me than the thing that is real. They explained what's going on, and it was rap. Gotta go, dreaming.
Don't give it up, Luffy.
Don't give it up. Oh, yes. Hit me with that every time.
No, my
And the
roommate
Pokey rap.
absolutely loves One Piece, and so every now and again I'll fucking troll him by singing that song.
Yes. Gotta go.
I'm like, that's the best song in the whole collection. He's like, I hate everything about you.
I am pro One Piece rap. I will die on that hill.
So I guess I'll open it up even further. What about just like albums in general?
Ooh.
Because I feel like people's album preferences say a lot about more than just what their favorite tracks are. But like album, feel like sitting and listening to an album is an experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like the first like album where I was just like, okay, this is an album experience. And I started thinking about things in the context of an album was 2112.
By
And
Green
to
Day?
this day,
Oh no, by Rush. Oh yeah,
Rush,
yeah, Rush.
2112 by Rush is one of those, it's still my favorite album of all time. I listen to it at least like once a month, couple times a month usually, but it's just one of those things where super talented musicians came together and did something that no other band at the time was really doing. Like, who was doing sci-fi rock anthems that are 20 minutes long at that time?
Dream
Nobody.
Theater.
And
Dream
then
Theater.
and then you flip the album over and it's 4 or 5 more very excellent tracks.
Yeah, no, that's a
It's just
standout.
so good.
That's good. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
I would say my favorite album of all time, if I had to pick one that I listened to from beginning to end, and I could do that every time without skipping a track, that'd be Songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder.
Well, now I'm writing stuff down because anytime someone mentions an album, I gotta go listen to it.
Songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder is, I think, one of the best things in pop or R&B, period. It is so good. Every song is great. The amount of musicianship that man has is insane. A lot of those, some of the Moog stuff that he was doing, he did note at a time because they couldn't do what he wanted to do. It's wild. So when you listen back, you're like, this guy is wild. So Songs of the Key of Life is really good. It's my favorite album. I would say another one that is like around that, like the album I can listen to from beginning to end, Coloring Book, like Chance the Rapper, super great. And then for like my personal ones, even though I know people might not agree with me, Neo Theater by AJR. I love that. It's pretty relatively new, but it's super great. And then I forget the name of the album. God dang it. Tenacious D, I love the Pick of Destiny, don't get me wrong, but it was the one before the Pick of Destiny.
I know what you're talking about, and I
Tribute.
don't know the name.
Is that the one that had
Tribute.
Wonder Boy on it?
Yeah. All of those songs were perfect.
Yeah. God, I love Tenacious D. We used to put on little performances in our class and get in a lot of trouble for like the language of those songs.
There you
I
go.
love Tenacious D.
For
Made
me,
my
another
buddies
one
like
is Colors by House of Heroes.
Oh, I've never heard Colors.
It's very, very good. It's kind of a West Side Story tale. So it's kind of, there's kind of a gang violence kind of like motif around it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's someone witnesses a crime, and due to obligation to family, he feels like he can't report it.
Ooh.
And so then there's this girl outside of all of this that is encouraging him to do the right thing. But
I
he's
like
being
it when
like,
albums have stories.
yeah, it's so good. And there's this part where this guy is kind of like listing off. He's like, some people like money, some people like sex. I like power, and I like to convince other people it's loyalty. And so it's just like this really like strong, it's really, really good. House of Heroes Colors is the name of the album.
Zach, what about you, man?
Honestly, so like an album I can listen to from like beginning to end, like constantly. First thing that's going to come to mind is probably Dave Matthews Band, Under the Table and Dreaming.
Ooh.
Okay.
I love it. And I grew up listening to a lot of music from Dave Matthews Band because my cousin Terry plays and sings just on his off time in Nashville. And that's a lot of stuff he would cover. So when he taught me how to do any kind of guitar playing, I learned how to play Dave Matthews music. And lately, I'd probably have to say there's this band called, Mystery Skulls Back to Life, I think is what it is. I'm really bad at the
Epic
band
name.
but I listen to the album when it pops on, just usually from beginning to end.
So for me, my favorite album probably says a lot about like my teen years is Lead Sail's Paper Anchor by Atreyu. That whole album is just stellar. Like, it is a really, really good kind of like alternative rock thing, and I can listen to that front to back. I also really like the self-titled album by Avenged Sevenfold, specifically because it's just got a wide range of stuff.
Yeah.
It's got your typical, political kind of charged track in the beginning with critical acclaim. Then you have Scream, which is kind of an homage to like horror films. And then you have this like crazy epic opera thing going on with Little Piece of Heaven, and then they cap it off with Dear God, which like is this crazy country-esque song. It's like super chill. It's like a weird mix of things, but man, that album is just super solid. But there's a song that I absolutely adore that's like 30 minutes long by Dream Theater called Change of Seasons, and that whole track is an experience. I love it. It's really, really good.
I love long songs.
Yeah, I do too. Like Dragon Force,
long songs and lots of
8-minute
cello
songs.
Knee Deep by Parliament. You gotta get a whole thing, man. I love the groove. I like to Mariana's Trench is a great band that I listen to from time to time. They have some longer songs. They're Masterpiece Theaters 1, 2, and 3. Super fun. If you like Queen you'd like Mariana's Trench.
Yeah, I guess that leads into one of my questions is what are some other artists people should be checking out that they may not have heard of?
In general? Okay. Well, I have a pretty particular bent because I'm a hip hop artist, so a lot of the artists that I would know that people would listen to is that. So I would say like a Brandon Pulfis, he's great. Lieutenant Sunny, she's fantastic. Minneapolis Drew is a very great artist from here. Christopher Michael Jensen, Uncle T, both great artists as well. As far as some bands that aren't necessarily hip hop that I hear in Minnesota that are really dope, 26 Bats are fantastic. Gully Boys are out of this world. I'm a huge fan of the Gully Boys. The Bad Man, if you like some good old fashioned grindhouse rock, the Bad Man makes you feel like you just like went into a drag race across Dead Gully's cavern. They're just the wildest group of dudes. Yeah, I'm trying to think of some more. I know there's so many more, and people are going to be like, why did you say so-and-so? And I did in my head. I didn't say it out loud because they were so cool that I didn't say them out loud. But those are some of the people that like you listen to and you're like, holy buckets, these people are amazing. So check those people out.
So I think we're going to be ready to kind of close things out. But one of the things that we always talk about at the end of every weekly discussion is what video games are you playing right now, or what shows are you watching right now, and why or why shouldn't we watch or play them?
All right. What am I playing right now? Because I have been doing a lot of Dungeons & Dragons right now, so I haven't been playing a lot of video games. But I just made a character for my friend's Animal Crossing Island.
Nice.
So it's fun. I've never played Animal Crossing before, and I was like, oh, this is nice. This is fun. I could see why people are getting into it. I want to build my house to look nice. I feel like more people should do that. The game that I had just finished, which is why I started working on other stuff. The game I had just finished was Control.
Okay.
I've heard good things.
I have it.
It was very fun. I liked it. It was creepy in the right way and not just like needlessly jump scary, but like creepy, like actively unnerving, but you had enough power that you could push through it if you wanted to. Strong female protagonist, which is always cool and fun to see. And yeah, interesting game mechanics. I love hyper-realistic physics, and you can turn the reflection on in mirrors and mirrored surfaces and glass. You can turn that on in the settings, so it looks hyper-real. So it's very fun to play.
Were you playing it on PC then?
PS4.
Oh, okay. Wow.
All right.
Super fun. Then the thing I was watched, and I just finished it for the first time because I had stopped earlier. Community. Take the time. Community is on Netflix now. All 6 seasons of Community are on Netflix. You do yourself a favor if you've never watched Community before. If you weren't watching it when it was on prime time, you will be in for a treat. If you like the stuff that you're talking about on this chat, on this little podcast thing, trust me when I tell you that Community is a show for you. If you haven't already watched it, which I'm sure most of you have, it's
now
fantastic.
all that's left is the movie, right?
I'm taking everything in my power. If I get nothing else from this rap thing, I want to make that happen.
Who do I have to send a letter to and a big old check?
I want a check. I'll give them all of it. I want a movie. It's 6
You're
seasons in a
successful
movie.
in looking for another investment opportunity. Let me talk to you about Legend of Dragoon.
All that to say, yeah, Community is amazing. All 6 seasons are on Netflix. Push through season 4. Yeah, I know it's not going to be your favorite, but that's okay. Season 5 is good.
The Dungeons and Dragons episodes in particular are amazing. Some of the best Dungeons and Dragons like pop culture referencing I've seen in any like sitcom style show ever.
And how true they are to the game and not like trying to make it something that it's not is very, very fun.
One of the best D&D related things I've ever seen is a series of films called The Gamers, and anything related to that group of people. I think it's Dead Gentlemen, whatever. But they are absolutely hysterical. The third movie's about like trading card games, and there's like subplots, and they flip over to like a fantasy kind of film, and it's just all of it's great.
Yeah, and it was all done real low budget too, and it was still really fun.
It's very well done for the amount of money they put into it. Zach, what have you been playing?
Yeah,
I finally have been playing through the Final Fantasy VII remake.
Ooh.
I've been playing a whole lot of Animal Crossing. That's been my big hype since I got a release date last year. I've been like, yeah, I'm about to do Cloud's cross-dressing scene. And other than that, the games we've been reviewing, Levelhead.
Yeah.
And been playing some more Fortnite with the guys off and on.
Nice.
So
Nice. Joe.
Well, I have a bit of a tale. Tragedy struck today on our island in Animal Crossing because Little Gamer got impatient and used her Mayday ticket without me.
Oh no.
And so when she encountered the puzzle and couldn't solve it, she left the island not knowing she wouldn't ever be able to go back.
Oh no.
And so I had to console a crying 5-year-old little girl how she wasn't going to get that suitcase.
Oh, I'll mail her one. I've got it.
Can't you just like reset your clock and go back before it happened?
I don't know how that works. I mean, I have it on my character, so I could technically give her mine. But she really likes experiencing and going through the stuff.
Yeah.
And she feels like she's missing out on something because she didn't finish it. And she was like, well, I'll just leave and come back later when Dad's around. I came back from going to the store and she was just in tears.
Aw.
So that's what we dealt with today. Oh, also, I didn't know that you could only buy turnips in the morning. So I don't have any turnips this week.
Oh, no.
You can only buy turnips in the morning.
Lil Gamer bought all the turnips, and that's the only reason I had turnips last week. And so I know nothing because Little Gamer is the primary resident, and so nothing gets told to me. I don't know anything. All of the tutorial stuff and how to play stuff gets told to the person who can't read. Aside from that, I've been really digging the Trials of Mana remake.
Hell yeah.
It's been a lot of fun playing through it and kind of seeing the things that they've done to modernize the game, but while keeping other aspects from the original Super Nintendo game.
And then you were saying it makes a better Switch game than a PlayStation game.
Yes,
probably.
I would. Yeah. There's been a number of times where I've been like, man, I wish I was on the Switch playing this handheld right now. Because on the PS4 tied to my couch, it doesn't feel as big of a console experience. Yeah. But if this was on a portable system, I'd be all about it. And then I'm also making my way through Final Fantasy VII Remake.
There you go.
Which I finished. New episode dropping Monday, which is this great chat about Final Fantasy VII between me and my stepbrother. There's a spoiler cast bit in the last probably 30 minutes or so of that chat. So some really cool conversations there. I have been playing a lot of Persona 5 Royale. That's probably the longest and most time I'm putting into anything. And again, that would make a much better Switch game than it would a PlayStation game. You have to dedicate to that one. Like, it is a commitment.
I've played Persona 5, and it is a freaking slog sometimes.
Yeah, I am bound and determined to finish it this time because I only got to Futaba in the original.
Oh, really?
And that was like 100 and some hours.
It's so
like
long.
now I'm like, okay, this time for sure, I'm gonna beat it.
So we got like Himpaku, our speedrunner, in the Discord, and I feel like I've been watching Himpaku play Persona 5 Royale for like a month.
For like 6 years.
Yeah, like every time I tune in, he went from playing the Kerbal Space Program in between his speedrun stuff to now he's just like stuck in Persona 5.
Because it's a whole life. It's a whole nother life you have to play.
Yeah, that's why I haven't gotten into the Persona games, is because in college, I think Persona 4 had come out, and I would go over and hang out with them, and they would just be, one person would just be playing Persona 4, and everyone else would be sitting there watching, and it is not a fun game to watch people play, at least
really
in my
isn't.
opinion. And just like, why am I watching you go to school right now?
Yes.
Sometimes it's not fun to play
And
at all.
go to school and then also be quizzed on Japanese history and culture. I don't know. I wasn't in class.
Who's
This
this
is a
famous
video
feudal
game.
lord? Ask the thief people online. 99% said this one. That's the answer.
That said, Persona 5 oozes style.
Yeah.
Oh, it
It
does.
redefined, I think, what an RPG system can look like.
Yeah.
It's incredible on that
It'll
front.
influence developers years to come, but I wish it would take pages out of Yakuza, because it's like, hey, do you want to go play billiards? And of course, in Yakuza, you would play billiards. But in this, you watch people play billiards real bad. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
and it's just me done. I was like, ugh. And I can only do one thing all day?
yeah. Well, now the cat won't tell you to sleep as much, so that's helpful.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, time to go do the laundry.
Yeah, go to sleep. You did, eat a burger today, so you're pretty tired.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, you did a crossword puzzle. I think it's time for a nap.
It's time to sleep for
The other
8
title
hours.
I'm playing is Void Bastards on the Switch, and that is another super visually stylish game. It has elements that reminds me of like System Shock, BioShock, and it is a really cool kind of roguelike first-person shooter that's got a lot of like classic FPS elements in it. So if you dig things like Doom 64 that's recently been remade and put on the Switch, and all the other consoles as well, if you like that style of like old school but still want some new school kind of randomized elements, Void Bastards.
Okay.
It's not bad. I
Cool.
don't think it's great. I think it makes a better PC game than a Switch game, but it is cool.
That's what's up.
All right. So, Nur-D,
Yes.
where, if someone wanted to listen to you or find you, where would they find you out there on the internet?
Yes.
To follow and listen. And then do you have anything upcoming, projects, songs, or more virtual concerts that people should keep an eye out for? Lay it on us.
Okay, so here we go. All my socials, Instagram and Twitter is Nur-D Rocks. It's N-U-R-D Rocks. So that's super easy to find. Same thing with my website. It's nurdrocks.com. NURDrocks.com. It has all my music on there, so if you wanted to buy something, you can buy it from there. It has, there's no shows coming up, so those aren't really on there, but you have all like pictures and video and all the fun stuff of my thing is right there on nurdrocks.com. Also on Bandcamp, you can search Nur-D on Bandcamp and you'll have some different music and things like there. I also have a Patreon, which is Nur-D Club on Patreon, NURD Club on Patreon. So you have like special behind the scenes photos and you get things faster than everybody else. So that's a fun place if you're looking to support and be on Patreon. The newest thing that I'm super excited to tell you all, which I think you guys would be interested in, is I have a Twitch account that I just started. I got my cool microphone. I got my freaking camera. So I'm going to be live on.
That a pro gamer move.
Yeah, I'm going to be on Twitch on Tuesdays. I'm going to start streaming on Twitch. It's Nur-D and Robin. So N-U-R-D and A-N-D Robin, R-O-B-I-N. Nur-D and Robin on Twitch. And we're going to be playing through Kingdom Hearts 2. So it's going to be really fun. So yeah, you can find me on Twitch. I have one video up there right now that's just me testing my camera and my mic. I'm probably gonna have to take that off, but it's nothing's really even fancy on there yet. It's so brand new, so that's gonna be really fun. Just if you keep following me on my Instagram, my Twitter, you'll be able to find me. All the shows are coming up.
Very cool, very cool.
Sweet.
Awesome.
And Zach, where can people find you?
I'm Exquisite Liar everywhere, but still not Twitter because a bot has shit on Twitter still, and I can't get him to get rid of it.
Including WikiFeet.
What?
Got him. Got him.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
You love to see it, folks.
We got him.
You got, son.
All right, and Alex?
I am recently switched over on Twitter to @ACMccumbers. And then, of course, all of my stuff you can find connected to foreverclassicgames.com.
And for myself, you can find me at The Daddy Gamer on Twitter, or Daddy Gamer YT on Twitch, and Daddy Gamer Reviews on YouTube.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
And so thank you so much for joining us tonight, Nur-D. I'm really glad we were able to get you in here and chat nerd stuff and your music and give you an opportunity to kind of just like give us a little behind the scenes look into your creation process. And super excited that you got a new album and a new music video out in the midst of everything that's happening. I think there's a lot of things that some artists can maybe learn from that experience. So hopefully if you're listening to this and you're kind of bummed about the circumstances with everything, take some inspiration here and just see what you can come up with. Take the limitations that you have and get creative with it.
Yeah.
See what you can come up with, and you might find yourself pleasantly surprised with the results, because Nur-D here has an entire album of great tracks, and definitely go listen to them.
Recorded on a snowball.
And with so many blankets.
So many blankets.
Too many blankets.
Too many
Recorded in a fucking
Too
desert.
many blankets. Too many blankets.
And with that, good night, everyone. Thank you for tuning in and watching and listening and checking everything out. Have a good night and stay cool.
Stay cool.
Hitting like some heavyweights, showing up like Majin Buu. Team with me, they going ape, going looking like the moon. Nerdy club is too sweet, rocking Super Saiyan God. Roll up with that turtle gi, hit that Kamehameha. Yeah, my flow is super fresh, seventh best it's ever been. No, we never need to stress. Legends be on KO Ken, working hard and never stops. Sleeping when my time is up. Now I'm headed to the top. Haters looking out of luck. Yeah.